Hey viewers and friends, Andrew back again and welcome to another slasher review, and I'm here to review My Super Psycho Sweet 16. This is a slasher film from 2009 and it's actually an MTV movie. This one centres around a spoilt brat. She's a real bitch called Madison and she's about to turn 16, so she decides that she wants to have her Sweet 16 party at the abandoned roller dome. Now what happened is the roller dome a decade ago, there were some brutal killings that took place and the roller dome's been shut down ever since then. Madison insists that the party's there because she can remember that the roller dome was a pretty awesome place back in the day, and you know, she pretty much gets everything that she wants from her father. She's real spoilt, so the dad arranges for the roller dome to be reopened, gets it done up, and of course the party takes place. Now, as I said, a decade ago, before the main events in this movie, brutal killings took place, and the killer, Charlie, he's disappeared. He's been missing. His daughter Sky, she's also one of the main characters in the movie. She's the class outcast, you know. Everyone knows about her father and they pretty much treat her like crap. She decides to crash the party because she's starting to see Madison's ex. They've just started going out. His name's Brig, and so Sky and her best friend decide it might be fun to visit Brig and crash the party. And of course when they arrive, so does the killer, and the killer starts killing off some of the guest list. So that is the main storyline. There were no spoilers, by the way. I was pretty much just mentioning the quick rundown of the movie or the synopsis that's written on the back of the case. So you really know the killer or who the killer is right from the start. So there's no massive surprises or twists to do with the killer at the end of the movie like a lot of other slashers out there. But trust me, that didn't take any enjoyment or any fun out of the movie. You know, the movie pretty much plays out as to be expected, but I really enjoyed it, and yeah, the ending was really satisfying. So My Super Psycho Sweet 16, what did I think of it? I loved it. Now I haven't actually heard any people within the horror community here on YouTube, or at least the horror guys that I'm subscribed to and watch their videos, mention this movie before or show it off in any of their videos. I'd only gone off a couple of random reviews that I'd come across here on YouTube, and it got consistently good ratings and write-ups on Amazon and a pretty good score on IMDb. So I thought, I'm going to give it a go, why not? And I was very impressed. I'm not too familiar with the channel MTV, so I'm not too sure like what their rating restrictions are or anything like that, but I was pretty surprised how brutal and violent this movie was, especially in terms of the killings. You know, it pretty much portrayed nasty bitchiness within high school really well. I'm sure, you know, anyone growing up in high school knew a person like Madison, and she was great. She pulled off her role really well. The other main character, Sky, she was awesome. She played the sort of outcast that no one really liked, and she played her role really well. Overall, I was impressed with the cast. I was impressed with the acting. All unknown cast. I didn't know any actor or actress in this movie, but yeah, really impressive. The acting was really good. In terms of the killings, it didn't have a massive body count, but all the killings were really impressive. There was some good variety, and I was really impressed with the blood and gore effects as well. And as I said, the kills were pretty violent and brutal, so the kills were really good. The killer himself, you know, I wouldn't say that he was anything special. Kind of interesting, just because his daughter played off his character a little bit, and there was the underlying storyline of that. That made it interesting, but as an overall killer, you know, he wasn't really anything utterly amazing or anything like that, but still pretty cool. So yeah, I love this movie. Keep in mind though, it's definitely a modern teenage slasher movie. Oh yeah, and that's another thing that I was really impressed with, was the age of the cast. They were pretty much their correct age for teenagers, you know, pretty much a teenage cast, which I thought was excellent. Most slasher movies, they have like characters playing teenagers who are in their 20s, sometimes 30s, and you know, it's a little bit unbelievable, a little bit ridiculous. So it was really good to see a younger cast within this movie. But yeah, I definitely recommend it, but just keep in mind it is very modern, and you know, it sort of does have a real high school teenage focus to it. So there's no real 80s or retro throwbacks to do with this movie, so just keep that in mind. But I thought it was really good, done really well. There's actually a couple of sequels to this one as well, part 2 and part 3, which I've heard are pretty good, especially part 2. I've heard that's very good, so I'm definitely going to be picking up both of those at some point. But it looks like we have another pretty good modern slasher franchise or series on our hands with this one. So yeah, loved the first one, definitely going to be checking out parts 2 and part 3. So I highly recommend it, especially to fans of modern slashers. And if I sort of was to compare this to an 80s slasher movie, the closest resemblance I can think of would be Prom Night. Now, I'm not a fan of the original Prom Night. In fact, I don't like it at all. And you know, the storyline is kind of different, but it kind of definitely had that feel to it, especially with some of the characters. So yeah, but my Super Psycho Sweet 16 gets a score of 3.5 out of 5 from me. Loved it, and I definitely highly recommend it. So that has been my review. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks a lot for watching.